Hey, what's up guys? So it looks like we've got another new radar detector coming. This one is coming from Radenso. This is another detector that they're working on in addition to Theia, and this new detector is called the Radenso DS1. Let's go ahead and talk about it. And so starting off, heading over here to RDF where we're having the full discussion, let's take a look at everything that we know about the detector so far. And so people are wondering if the detector has Bluetooth, and we can actually tell that based off of some of the FCC information. So like the MaxCam 360C, we've got the FCC ID info here available online. And if you take a look, just like before, we've got a bunch of different exhibits, and I've gone through ahead of time and kind of gone through some of my favorites where we've got the coolest info. Now first, we've got the Radenso DS1. So that's going to be the model name here for this new detector from Radenso. Here's the FCC ID, so the Radenso DS1, and it contains the FCC ID for this component, which we know is a Bluetooth module specifically. Next, if we go over to this page, you can see that got some more information. We've got the Radenso DS1, and it's actually being manufactured by Adawave. Now, Adawave is the same company that produces the Radenso XP and the SP. They also produce a bunch of other detectors like the Uniden R3, the R7. They make some Rocky Mountain radar detectors. They make K40 detectors. They make detectors for a lot of different products. And they're also going to be making here the DS1. Now, for the time being, a lot of the information here about the detector, it's going to be under short-term confidentiality for 180 days, so 6 months. And that includes photos of the detector, the manual and documentation about it as well. However, we've got actually a bunch of information here on the forums. Now, first off, starting off, people are asking about the detector and whatnot. Initially, we're getting the standard responses of like, as long as you're subscribed here to the Radenso DS1 pre-order email list, you'll be the first to know. And that, of course, is the exact same thing that Radenso's been saying now for months with Radenso Theia. They're working on development for that too. Sign up for their mailing list, and as soon as they've got more information, they'll let us know about that too. And besides the mailing list, as soon as they've got more information about the detector, they'll have an announcement here on RDF as well, and they'll post on social media, which is the same thing that I'll do when I've got more information about the detector as well. So tons of videos, articles on the website, social media posts, all that kind of stuff. When I have it, I'll be posting about that. However, we actually do have some additional information here that we already know here about the detector. Now, people have been kind of diving into the FCC info. 9C1, for example, actually found the dimensions of the detector right here. That's pretty close to the dimensions of something like a Uniden R3, for example. He also found that it's powered by USB, which is kind of cool, not RJ11. Good to see a USB-powered detector. We've also got some technical specs like the speed of the internal clock, the CPU, which isn't going to be fast enough to run something like Theia, but could be used for maybe something not quite that sophisticated. Plus, John at Radenso, he's actually been posting a couple things on RDF, giving us kind of some insight and thoughts into how the DS1 fits in, and a couple things as far as what we can expect. For example, he's mentioned here that eventually Theia's technology will trickle down to other detectors, but it's not realistic to work on 3 detectors at once, kind of multiple detectors that all have the same technology. And even if they could, it wouldn't really help them short term because they can't get the FPGAs anyways. And the FPGAs, it's one of the main components in Theia that they're not able to source with the chip shortage. And so that's why he's saying the last thing that he wants is for 3 detectors that they can't procure parts for. So it's kind of nice that the DS1 is going to be using some different components from Theia, which should help with availability, especially when we're dealing with the chip shortage stuff. And then again, we can't talk more about the DS1 because they're committed to a global launch date with their partners. And it's interesting seeing a global launch date. So it looks like this isn't going to be just an American detector. It looks like this is going to be an international detector as well, kind of for other countries too. I don't know if it's going to be just US and Canada, or if it's going to be for European countries or Australia, New Zealand, Israel, any of that kind of stuff. But I'm really kind of curious to see how that comes into play too. And then in another post, John has also mentioned that this is mostly an Adawave product. Again, Adawave is a company who makes the Radenso XP, for example. They build the Uniden R3, R7, and a couple other detectors. But he is specifying that it's the first product in which their engineering teams collaborated, so Radenso and Adawave working together, which is a strategic benefit for them. This is not a Radenso RF DSP product, but they did contribute to the industrial design of the detector, the screen, the mount, the power supply, and the user experience, plus the app itself for the Bluetooth, was done in-house in Radenso. So it looks like Radenso does have a much more hands-on approach here with the DS1 compared to just saying maybe some other company, here's what I want, go out and build it for me. And that's actually what he's saying here, that it was a very collaborative process, which is very different than how the XP and the SP is done. Again, basically they just ordered them and asked for certain features, and Adawave built it and delivered it. And so for that reason, this detector, when it comes out, might give us kind of some insight as far as what Radenso has in mind for Theia once that comes out too. Now, I know Radenso's actually posted some videos on YouTube kind of giving us a preview of the display of what they have in mind for Theia, and perhaps we'll see something similar here for the DS1. And I'll link to their video in the video description so that you can take a look. People have also been asking about the ETA of the detector, but again, they really can't say about that. I know you're curious, I'm curious, they're not able to say about that either. And then the last thing is if you go take a look, again, they can't share any additional information, and so until then, their official response is they'll share more information on the forums and sign up for their mailing list and all that kind of stuff too. So again, in the video description, I'll link to their mailing list and to the forums and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, here on YouTube, I'll be posting videos and social media posts and all that kind of stuff when we get more information. But either way, it's really interesting to see that we've got another detector in the works, and this one is coming from Radenso, and it's not Theia. So I'm glad to see that they're still working on things, even if the COVID chip shortage stuff is kind of hampering their Theia development, they're still able to work on other stuff as well. And it looks like this may have some similarities with Theia, even though it's going to be definitely a different detector, not as capable, not as powerful, but maybe the display will be similar, maybe the design will be similar, I don't know. But I think this would be kind of cool to see what Radenso has in mind for maybe something kind of as a lower tier than what we can expect for Theia. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this is like. And once we've got more information, we'll definitely share it with you here. So awesome. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Now, if we head over here to the next page, here we go.